So when I was looking at the dog, and Tom thought this too, is that you probably need more lights.
Okay.
And I think I would have you start with the lights, get your highlights in first. So when you're looking at, I'm going to bring the dog, whoops, bring the dog portrait back. No, I'm not. There we go. So if you did the light area, it's kind of the first thing I start with anyway, too. You know, so start with the bridge of the nose and, you know, these jowls here, you know, kind of work with some of those lights and then move into your mediums. And I think that'll help you with your fabrics because you'll find out how light, you know, like let's say if, oh, I wish I could pick up some of these things. So the curve, like I'm looking at the curve that you've got here or the curve here on those fabrics.
Yep.
Those to me flipped around look a lot like jowls, you know, or the curve around the dog's nose. And if I'm guessing that the back of this fabric, maybe you have it in front of you, this fabric, and this fabric might.
Let's see. Here's the back.
Yeah, see how light that is?
Yeah, you're right. I
So
love that saying, you pay for both sides, you might as well use them, right?
right. And those cave prints tend to be still recognizable from the back.
Yeah.
So whereas some of them, the print seems to sit just on the top of it. And it's just plain on the back. So I would definitely
Oh,
use
that's a great idea.
some of that for some of the lightest. And then those will be your lightest stuff. And
Yep.
then move into using these from the front side that you have, or the batiks, which would go either side. And then, you know, go into these. So I think it's kind of like, these are I think your lightest ones are like right here.
Yep.
And the backs of those two, maybe, I mean, you'd have to see how they compare, but
Yep.
and then you have your middle range, which would be the front of these, the same ones here, and these two, and then these three here kind of start, you know, getting in to that middle range as well.
Okay.
They kind of blend. And then you've got like a dark medium, you know, with all these others. Let's see how many different colors can I use here?
Go for it.
Yep, here you go. Now you got these, you know, which all kind of
Yep.
work together. All those work nice together. And then you got all your last ones.
Yep.
So, which I think I've got one more color I can use. And then you got these over here. There we go. Lovely. So, and there's not a lot of place on that dog to go really dark.
No, just the nose and the eyes.
Yeah, and you have such beautiful dark fabric. So, but if you start, sometimes too, what I do is I start with the lights. So if we go into your dog now, that's kind of funny. You know, you got, I guess, like, well, in case we want to go back to the fabrics, I'm not going to erase it, but you've got your lights here and you're here. Start with the nose, or the bridge of the nose.
Okay.
So that means you're starting with your extremes in your fabric. You've got your lightest stuff, your darkest stuff, and then just see how things look against each other. You know, keeping in mind the relative contrast in you know, comparing like what's on the bridge of the nose here. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. What's on the bridge of the nose is pretty comparable when you squint your eyes to what's on the top of the head.
Yeah.
To what's over on the brow, like in the temple. The ruff around his neck is actually the lightest.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
haven't noticed before.
yeah. So you can keep some of that in mind, like that ruff there. Actually, the ruff around his neck and the kind of fur there around under his neck. Um, looks like that, maybe the back of those cafe ones there. You know,
Okay,